You guys have asked, begged, questioned, and I am here to deliver. Today, I'm going to give you guys a student loan update based on the Biden administration, what they're doing. As you guys know, election time is coming up, so they know they're going to have to deliver on this student loan forgiveness. Make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to give you 3 different ways you can get your student loans forgiven or get on a super low income driven repayment. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So I recently got all this information from a Forbes article, which I will link above for you guys to review for yourself. Based on the Biden student loan administration, they are now making updates to what they are offering. So the easiest way that they've been able to do a workaround is they found they're going to be adding on this current student loan forgiveness to a previous law that was established in 1965. It is the 1965 Higher Education Act by Lyndon B. Johnson. So that is a current bill that is available when they started the student loan process. So based on this, they are trying to get this law added onto that bill. That way it does not have to go to the Supreme Court. We don't have to worry about saying we got the forgiveness and then they're pausing it because they're going through the Supreme Court arguing back and forth about it. So at this point, they're just trying to get this add-on to the law passed. And the 5 groups eligible for the Biden forgiveness plan, as it states, and this is directly from them, borrowers with current balances greater than what they originally borrowed. So there are 5 groups of people who will be eligible for the Biden forgiveness plan. The first group is borrowers with current balances greater than what they originally owed. That's pretty much everybody. As you guys know, if you have student loans, all of those student loans have interest. So what you started out with, me personally, when I graduated school, I only owed $20,000 in student loans, but simply from the interest itself, my student loans are now $30,000+. So everybody is eligible because we all have a balance higher than what we originally borrowed. So that's the first reason. Those who have entered repayment 25 or more years ago, that's going to be a lot of people who are eligible because they have heightened the amount of time. At first it was just 20 years ago or more. Now it's 25 years. The third reason, schools or programs that had questionable value. That's going to be all our schools that had a commercial. ITT Tech, DeVry, University of Phoenix, all of those schools that had questionable value that pretty much overcharged people for certifications that they got. The fourth one is going to be borrowers in existing programs, including those that just haven't applied. So for my people that are on an income-driven repayment plan, or if you're in a current student loan forgiveness because you were a public service worker, you were a teacher, even if you haven't applied for those plans yet, simply because you qualify for them, you would qualify for the Biden student loan forgiveness. And then the third one is borrowers in financial hardships. Everybody could be considered in financial hardships for one reason or another because most student loan payments are very expensive, especially depending on how much money you actually got in student loans. So, needless to say, these 5 categories fit majority of Americans today as far as being eligible for this forgiveness plan, and I'm super excited about it because they're trying to currently attach it to the 1965 Higher Education Bill by Lyndon B. Johnson, like I was saying, and that's going to allow us to skip the Supreme Court. It just needs to be approved as an add-on to that current law. Now, Hopefully this will be determined by the summertime so that everybody can apply, because as you guys may or may not know, you have until October the 1st to start your deferments on your student loan payments, because on October the 1st of 2024, it will start back reporting on your credit. If you don't go into your repayment plan, you will start getting late payments. You do need to get set up on an income driven repayment plan or on a public service loan if you qualify for borrower defense. So I'm going to explain today the three options that you have for student loan forgiveness outside of the Biden administration law that they're trying to add on today. So the first option that you have is going to be the most recent income driven repayment plan that they've started, called the SAVE program. Now, this again is based on your income. So, what they're doing right now is they are going to pull your tax information to allow you to pay back as little as 10% per month on your current student loan balance. But there is talk that they're going to update that to 5%. But for the current time, you only have to pay 10% back of what you owe. So, with this plan, 10%, like let's say you have 100,000, you're only going to be focusing on getting an income driven repayment plan based on 10% of that, which would roughly be about 10,000. So with this particular plan, they're going to pull your taxes. So if you were making a lot of money during the pandemic as a side hustle, as a business, and that is not what your current income is, it is important for you to also submit additional check stubs to show what you are currently making, regardless of what you do or don't remember. Because if they go strictly off of your tax returns and you made more during the pandemic or in 2020, 21, 22, you want to let them know, hey, I make less money, so let me also send in a check stub to show what my current income is. That's super important. I would suggest you send that in whether you remember what you made or not, just to be safe, to make sure you're going to pay the least possible. The second thing is, with this SAVE program, they are now offering it to where if you have a spouse and you're married, you do not have to add that spouse's income on for your repayment. You can actually select an option that you're only going based on your own personal income for the repayment of your student loans, because you do not have access to your spouse's income. So for my people who are married, filing together, that saves you to where you're only going based off of the income that you are showing from those tax returns, and then later with any check stubs that you may submit. And then the way that it's set up, if you make $45,000 or less, you will have a $0 payment. So the median for most people as far as income is about $50,000 to $55,000. And if you make $50,000 to $55,000, you will have a $100 payment per month. So that's going to be way cheaper than most people who have a $2,000 payment a month. So I would suggest that everybody tries to get on the SAVE program repayment plan, because you're going to have a much cheaper payback regardless of how much your income is. It's going to be a lot less than what they automatically try to calculate for you based on your said income. Now we're going to go straight into your student loan forgiveness plans. So we have the public service loan forgiveness, which as long as you have been a public service person for at least 10 years or more, and you make 120 payments, the rest of your student loans will be forgiven. So a lot of people actually don't realize that this applies to a lot of different areas of public service. You do not just have to be a teacher or work for a nonprofit. You can also be considered for this, like if you are a pharmacist, if you work in a pharmacy, if you're a doctor, different things where that's considered public service working at a hospital. I know that because when I was a pharmacy tech, I actually did get in the public service forgiveness plan, because the pharmacy techs was a subcategory that was listed under pharmacists and things of that nature. So I am going to make sure to link in the description and above for you guys what job titles do qualify for the public service loan forgiveness plan. Please make sure that you go through it with a fine-tooth comb Now, the good thing about the public service forgiveness plan is, let's say you've already been at your job 5 years. They can actually backdate that, because when you apply for it, you have to get that form filled out by your job to show how long you've been there, so they can backdate however long you've been in that public service position. Even if you don't currently work in a public service job, wherever you previously went, you can literally contact that previous job and have them put in your information, so you're getting all your back time for being a public service worker, whether you're currently doing it or you have done it in the past. So for me personally, when I worked for a pharmacy tech for 2 years, I did get my public service time in to go towards that forgiveness plan. And all you have to have is 10 years and 120 payments, and the rest will be forgiven. So for example, if you get on a income-driven repayment plan like the SAVE program, and your payment is $0, as long as you make 120 $0 payments and you have your 10 years, you'll be forgiven. If it's $100, as long as you make your 120 payments of $100, the rest of your loans will be forgiven. So it is super great. Now, they do have a separate public service plan for teachers, but I wouldn't so much suggest you do that unless you have a balance of $17,500 or less. So if you do the teacher's plan, it does have a cap to where they will only forgive it up to $17,500. So if you have more than that as a teacher, just go straight into the public service loan forgiveness plan. Skip the teacher one, because we want to maximize all the money that we can get forgiven as soon as possible. So those are going to be your 2 student loan forgiveness plans, where you pay for a set amount of time at a low rate and the rest will be forgiven. Now, I did want to add that I have had several people since the Biden administration did come out with the student loan forgiveness. There have been several people that have contacted me, DM me, commented on my videos, and said that they have gotten the forgiveness. I'm going to add some of those screenshots in for you guys, but it is definitely something that's real, that happens. Student loans are being forgiven and disappearing all the time. So right now, so much has changed with the process. My suggestion to you is just do the application. Don't start thinking about the shoulda, woulda, coulda, maybe I do, maybe I don't qualify. Just do the application, because you never know. They've skipped over so many people for forgiveness plans that you need to put in your hat in the ring. There are millions of people who qualify for these forgiveness plans, and there is not enough manpower for them to get to everybody. So you may have been one of those people that were skipped over, and you're going to miss out on your blessings because you didn't do your application. So I strongly suggest do what you need to do. Start setting up for your SAVE income-driven repayment plan. Apply for the public service loan forgiveness. And then the last one is going to be borrower defense plan. Now, I previously did a full video on the borrower defense plan forgiveness and how it works. I actually went through the entire application for you, so I'm going to link that video above, because I went over the full application on what you should put in, information you need to input, how you can determine if your school was eligible, all that kind of great stuff. So first and foremost, the borrower defense plan is for students who went to a list of 200 schools. I will list the school list in the description. Schools like, again, DeVry, ITT Tech, University of Phoenix, a lot of colleges like that may have closed, and this includes universities as well as those small certification colleges. So it also includes any schools that previously closed. So make sure y'all look at the list. Again, we want to put our ring in the hat. Look at that list of 20 schools. If your school is on that list, you need to fill out the borrower defense plan. Now, when I originally posted this video on YouTube, the people who did apply, it took them about 6 months to a year to get an actual response. But I, again, have had several people say, hey, thank you so much. I did the application and I got approved. I'll find those screenshots and put them somewhere above. With the borrower defense plan, once you see that you did go to one of those 200 schools, you're going to fill out your application. Like I said, it can take about 6 months to a year for them to fully process everything and let you know if you got approved. Honestly, most people who went to the school, as long as you did your app, waited the time, they got the approval. The good thing about this is if they do see that you made payments on those student loans, you're also going to be refunded whatever you paid. So let's say you went to DeVry, you saw that, hey, I went to DeVry, I filled out my application, I waited my 6 months, got my updates, and then they notified me, hey, we saw that you made payments up to $5,000 for your DeVry student loans. They are going to send you a check in the mail for those payments that you made. So not only are you getting the student loans forgiven, you're also getting your money back for everything you paid on them. So this is a application you don't want to skip out on. And I will link the full application process on what you need to do above. It's not really hard to fill out. You just need to know some information about the school you went to around the time. Did you feel like they did shady practices? Things of that nature. So I'll be sure to link the borrower defense. So today I have given you guys an update on the Biden administration's add-on to the law for the student loan forgiveness plan that they're trying to get approved in the works, the 5 groups that will qualify for that student loan forgiveness plan once it is approved. But in the meantime, I've given you guys an income-driven repayment plan to sign up for so that you can make sure you're not going into default. You can make sure you won't get any late payments on your student loans now that they're requiring you to make payment again. So get on your income-driven repayment plan. I've also given you 2 options for student loan forgiveness as a public service worker. And lastly, the borrower defense forgiveness for people who went to questionable schools or colleges that have closed. So I know I gave you guys a lot of information. If you need some one-on-one help from me, I am assisting people with doing their student loan forgiveness applications as well as their income-driven repayment plan applications to see what you can qualify for. Make sure you filled out everything right so we can ensure you get the lowest repayment plan or the best forgiveness plan. So if you are interested in booking a student loan forgiveness consultation with me, I will link that above for you guys because I know y'all want my help. But comment below, let me know how much your student loan balance is. And I'm happy to help you guys next time. Until next time. Thank you again for hanging with me here at Rose Credit Repair. And don't forget, like, subscribe, comment below if you have any credit questions. I'm going to be answering them myself in the comments. So you know what to do. Until next time.